One of the reasons that I created my new course in sales is that the common philosophy in sales, the way they teach it, I think is jacked up. It really is uncomfortable for the customers. And I think this is the reason why customers would rather search on the internet hours and hours trying to find what they need rather than spend 5 minutes on the phone with a salesperson. Because salespeople are taught persuasion skills that make it uncomfortable for customers. And I didn't like this. I don't like it myself. I know exactly what's going on when a salesperson starts asking me questions. It's particularly questions that they should know. I mean, these people are experts. If you're buying a computer or whatever, and you're talking to a salesperson on the phone, they know all the benefits already, but they're asking you for what you consider valuable so that they can use this against you. So I'm going to play a little clip of a sales trainer training people, the method of selling and what the current state of the art is. In fact, when he started the course, which you won't hear in this little clip, he says that what people did 30 years ago is not working. And I've got a new method for you. And so this is his new method, which actually isn't new at all. It's the same old stuff that salespeople have been using for a long time. But I cut the clip to a specific part where he talks about his methodology or his formula for selling. So let's listen to that formula, and then I'll be back afterwards to give you my opinions on it.
Now in this example, notice the formula we're using. We bring up hot pain point number 1, and then we reconfirm or tie the prospect down with a question. And we're going to talk more about tie downs in a moment. The prospect says yes, then we bring up the consequences of that need and then reconfirm or tie the prospect down with another question. The prospect says yes again, then we discuss the features of our product that solve that pain point and connect that feature with the benefit, which is solving the pain point for the prospect. Then we reconfirm with another question. Next, we go into pain point number 2 and 3 in the same fashion, and that's how you want to present your product. It really is that simple, but salespeople often make it harder than that. Now let's talk about those tie downs I mentioned earlier. Always remember this: sales is a series of small commitments from your prospect that lead to the bigger commitment of the sale. So by getting your prospect to say yes at each stage of the presentation, they're effectively becoming more and more committed to your solution. And that's why you'll notice in the example we just went over that the salesperson ended each statement with a tie-down question, confirming the prospect's agreement to each statement. Questions like, is that correct? Did I get that right? Wouldn't you agree? How does that sound? Did I remember that right? Can you see how this feature would solve your problem? And obviously you insert the feature there. Is that something that you want? Now notice this last example. Is that something that you want? It came towards the end for a reason. As you come to the end of presenting each pain point, always use this kind of tie down because it's more powerful. In essence, you're directly asking them if they want this feature you offer to solve the pain point you're discussing. By getting agreement to these questions, your prospect is becoming more and more committed to the sale. But what if they don't agree? Then you should be genuinely confused and remind your prospect of your previous conversation.
So what makes me mad about that formula is that, in fact, he uses the word tie down. Let's tie down the customer. So imagine you're a customer and somebody is trying to tie you down. Does that make you more happy or less happy? Obviously, the answer is nobody wants to be tied down. One of the things that you'll discover in my course is there are 2 universal values that everybody has. And one of those values is freedom. Everybody wants freedom. And to be tied down is to take away your freedom, to confine you in this little box. And so that right there is going to trigger fear. They're trying to take away my freedom. And then when they actually do it, at the end, when they're closing the sale, then it turns to anger. At least it does for me, because I know exactly what they're doing. So what he does here is, okay, during the discovery phase, we find your value, something that you value. And then now that I know what you value, I'm going to come back to that later and make you feel that you aren't living up to that value. And if you don't live up to your value, it's going to create the emotion of shame in your mind. So is this what you want? And you answer yes. And then he says, okay, let's sign the contract now. And I said, no, I don't think so. And then he says, to act surprised and confused. It's like, well, wait a minute. You said that this was something you valued and that you want. So now he's twisting the emotion of shame in you because you have integrity. And what you say is what you mean. So by twisting that, he is trying to get you to, rectify the situation in your mind that you still are a person of integrity, so I will sign your contract. And this right here is what gives salespeople a bad name. It's kind of like used car salesman type of bad, but he's not a used car salesman. He's a sales trainer. He's training those people that are sales professionals, and we got to do something better. And this is why I created the course, because in the course, I talk about a better system. And in the course, I say, during that discovery phase, when you are finding out what's important to the customer, I specifically say, do not use those values when you go to close a customer. Because if you do, you are twisting the key of shame in your customer. So don't do it. So how do you close then? Well, you need to pick up other values of the customer that they don't say. And this gets into another concept that we talk about in the course called protecting what they value. By not bringing it up, we protect that value. It's like nobody's going to harm it. Nobody's going to take away your freedom. Nobody's going to take away your integrity. That is safe. So how do you pick up those values? So that is really what the course is all about, because you have to be able to pick those values up, and there is a way without reading their mind. And you can do it in seconds. You don't have, I encourage people to do research on their customers. But if you don't have time to do research, such as you're doing, face-to-face sales in a retail environment, you have to have a method of picking up those values. Obviously mind reading would be the greatest, but we can't read a customer's mind. But we can read their personality. And from their personality, we can pick up their values. So if you'd like to learn more about the process of doing this, like I said, I created this course. I just released it. It's on Udemy, the website. So you'll go to that website, Udemy, and I'll put the link down here. And if you're on there already, you can search for the course title. Course title is Easy Sales using personality. So easy sales using personality. Just type that in, you'll find it. This will give you a new method of sales, and it won't involve shaming your customer because they don't want to be shamed. And once you establish that rapport with your customer, they're going to keep coming back to you because you are different. And that's what I encourage. Be different. Don't use I don't want to say it, the 30-year-old technology. It's, this is new only because we now know so much more about human personality than we've known in the past. So let's use that new technology and a new way of approaching customers and push aside those old methods of shaming the customer, getting those tie downs, to confine them so they have to make a decision in your favor. So that's the end of this presentation. I hope you will check out the course. I hope you'd come to my website. I've relaunched it. It's at customersecrets.com. My name is Tim Van Milligan, and thank you for watching.